Hey guys, Nick Tian here and welcome to my very first game club of 2018, and the game that I'll be playing is Mega Man X. They kind of Metroided you in this game. What I mean when I say Metroided is that you are given a look at, the abilities and the skills and the weapons that you have, but then when you start the game proper, you're basically given nothing. And the way I say it is because when you let the demo run, you actually see a lot of the moves, a lot of the weapons that you're gonna have later on in the game that you don't have at the beginning of the game, because you're gonna have to work up to it. So in a way, it's showing you like, oh, this is potentially who you could be and how badass you could be. But then they're gonna remove everything so that you're gonna start out weak and then you're gonna build up to that. Prologue acts in that way as well. In the prologue, you start out, you only have a charged up buster shot and maybe a wall climb and just being able to jump on walls. And they introduce these mechanics very well. It's very Super Mario or very old school introduction to game mechanics, which for some reason the X series seemed to get away from further and further down the line. But one of the other things that was interesting in this stage was, I think I read up about a year ago, actually the dimming and the brightening of this prologue was actually intentional. Because as you walk by the lights, things actually dim or brighten up as you get closer to the lights, but as you walk further away it becomes darker. So, that was something that even I learned like less than a year ago. Okay, so we reached the end where you have an unbeatable boss fight against Val, and you're introduced to a character called Zero, which is kind of like a different way to encourage players, because you're beaten by the unbeatable boss and you feel like, okay, I'm powerless. So having a character like Zero come in that one-shots Val, and you get the feeling that, okay, I could be just as powerful as this guy in the future. So it kind of gives you a sort of an encouragement get further into the game, which I don't think happens, because after this pretty much X is the most powerful character or has the most potential or whatever he is, and you never really get an incentive or encouragement or motivation after this point. Moving on to the stage select, you could actually, if you notice in the four corners, there's like the map, there's the stages, and there's like a spec sheet. These things actually work, and you could actually click on the stage and a map button to get extra information. Specs, you could see the moves and stuff like that. So if you didn't notice that, that's something to take note of. In the past, when I played, I would usually go for Chill Penguin first. One of the reasons is that Chill Penguin is probably the easiest boss to defeat, but I felt that it kind of made the game, you kind of saw less of the game. I want to see as much of the game as possible, and playing Chill Penguin first, you kind of lost one of the more difficult stages in the game. At a certain point in time, I decided to just start with Flame Mammoth first. If you play something like Chill Penguin first, he actually affects the stage. Certain stages might look or play out. So for example, I'm falling into the lava here just to show off, that there is danger here. But if I were to go through Chill Penguin stage first, that lava actually becomes like mud or something like that. So it becomes like not dangerous at all. And another thing that was introduced in this game, this wide, huge areas that you have a choice of where you want to go. While it might not seem as impressive today, you have stages that kind of branch out a little bit or have stages which are open in a sense. Back then, this was kind of impressive because you had games like Super Metroid where they gave you choice, or at least an illusion of choice. And coming from NES, this was, groundbreaking at the time. So at the end of the stage, you fight against Flame Mammoth. His weakness is against Storm Eagle's weapon, and usually this guy will be the last enemy you fight. And with the defeat of Flame Mammoth, I think that's where I'm gonna end this episode of the Game Club. The next episode will be slightly different because this game actually has a remake, which is Maverick Hunter X on a PSP. So instead of moving to the next game immediately, I'm gonna actually do a B-side, which is I'm gonna play through the same 2 levels on Maverick Hunter X, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about the differences that you do see or the changes that the developers have made, and then we're going to come back and do another 2 more bosses. So with that, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Yeah.